What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Before we even go anywhere near the further of the video, yes, I'm back here on YouTube doing content, hopefully regularly, and bringing content for y'all. But right now, it's really tired, so we're just gonna get right through this video. And yeah, because I have a lot of other bigger projects at the moment that are on my plate, and this is not one of them at all. So let's just shit this out real quick, and we'll take care of whatever the hell is coming next. Also, I don't know if this was obvious or not, but yes, all this is gonna be improv talk, so please keep that in mind. I will try to make sure it's in a scripted format as best I can. Otherwise, though, this is just off the cuff, and if I pause in between and say and repeat words, then we'll you're welcome, I guess, and cry about it. On March 31st, on Friday, the Isle developers had dropped a lot of different news on us to us players about what they're going to be doing for their next upcoming updates, and there's a lot to really think about. It's also really overwhelming for the amount of things he shared because we were eating really good this day. We have not seen any sort of influx of information throughout the entire Isle's history in such a long time. It's amazing, and I absolutely adore it. Please keep doing this, developers, and actually be nice to us for a change. Throughout all the news we have gotten, it all resorts all the way towards the brand new update that will be coming out hopefully sometime really soon. Update 6.5, introducing a ton of new additions and some other fun things for us players to look at. With the big takeaway in this update being that we'll be getting the addition of not one, not two, not three, but 4 brand new animals into the game, which is a goddamn miracle. Ever since we have gotten Packy since a year and a half ago, it has been nothing but dry in the playable roster. But luckily, we're getting 4 more, which will bring our counter all the way up from 9 playables to the big old double D number, 13. Not a lot, but at least it's something, because everyone loves them double Ds. Well, not everyone, but partially people. And the animals in question that will be added towards this update is the pack-hunting venomous Troodon, the brutish brawler, the Ceratosaurus, the quick and nimble water-dwelling Bipiosaurus, and the most newest addition to the roster here in 6.5, the speedy, the fast, the narcissistic, the whatever you want to call it, kickin' chicken Gallimimus. And first you may think, oh hell yeah, more playables, 4 of them in fact, after a year and a half without any, and that sounds all well and good, yeah? Well, honestly, I have a couple conflicting thoughts throughout my head that I've been tossing around for the past 2 days, and really, it's been really hard to kind of take these off my mind, especially also the news that Ark Survival Evolved dropped down. It's a lot of overwhelming news, and honestly, I kind of really need to just talk about it, as I usually would do with anything. Now, after hearing that, you may be thinking, wow, Ski, there's 4 different playable dinosaurs coming in this update. What do you mean this update might be bad? There's over 4 of them. That's a slam dunk. Gobbledygook, diddly doo. Look at me, I have a brand new dinosaur to run around in. And yeah, they may sound all well and good, but if you really think about it, this update could really be a 2-for-1 when it comes down for overall positive attitude, or just pain and suffering. Let me explain. The Isle and a lot of these other games have had really bad habits of when they first release a new dinosaur or a brand new remodel into their video games, they are either 2 things. 1, they're either extremely overpowered to the point where nothing can kill them outside of the giant animal right next to in the other room, or they're so weak to the fact where they can't compete with any other animal where they're too broken to even fight anything. Looking at you, Amargasaurus from Path of Titans. Referring back to Packy when it first released in Evrima, they were able to take on giant hordes of Ute-Raptors and being able to kill Carnas in just 5 hits with no problem whatsoever in mere seconds. Path of Titans has had quite the opposite ring out when it came down to the Isle's success rate of making animals overpowered. Instead of it making animals feel like they deserve to be the rightful owners of their power ship, Path of Titans has said, yeah, nah fam, we're just gonna make an animal broken. No, seriously, they actually made this animal broken. What the fuck happened with Amarga, dude? Holy shit. And then we're also gonna make another animal that is supposed to compete with its other competitors, but make it into a weak soft bitch that can't fight back at all. And with Beasts of Bermuda, well, it's an interesting case to say the least.
I don't see how things will ever be the same again, short of brainwashing.
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me!
In Beast of Bermuda hindsight, where to say is losing, and Ichthy keeps winning, baby. Alright. I'll calm down with the Bob sweep. But that doesn't excuse the fact that it's still better than the Owl. Going back to what the update actually holds itself, I think it's pretty sure to say that we know exactly what's coming. But surprisingly as well, we'll be getting the Unreal Engine 5.1 upgrade. And obviously this is a welcome change just for the graphically for the game, as well for fixing a lot of performance issues. Actually, just today, we recently got an inside look at what it's going to look like in game. Now, do be in mind this only affects the trees at the moment because it's still under development, but it overall looks very similar to how it is. And that's just because of the way how the game is programmed and the code is, and a bunch of other crazy shit that y'all probably not going to even know what the f it means. And all this is being achieved by having temporal super resolution, which helps out with in-game performance, lumen, that helps out with in-game lighting, and by the way, holy shit, that actually works really well, and nanite, that helps out with a lot of meshes and textures throughout the in-game process. There's some other little things in there, but those are the big three ones that really help out with the games that they work with. However, apparently the developers have said that Gateway is basically built for this thing, so really it's not going to look like Gray and Sparrow, just keep that in mind, but if it looks well in Gateway, then I don't really know if they take that as fact, or just to go along with what they say like sheep. In general, this is a welcome change, and I know for a fact a lot of people are really down for this, including myself. I very much am so for games for when they transition to this thing, because it looks absolutely incredible, and I cannot wait. Well, Unreal Engine 5 sounds like it will be pretty good, but what about the other animals? Well, let's get to that. First and foremost, I think everyone can absolutely agree that why the f Troodon's even here to begin with. We could have gotten Dialos instead, and for some reason, we didn't. And, yeah, that kind of sucks because no one likes Troodon, and, fuck it. It's an animal where you're like, why would I want to play this if I'm just gonna get one shot by 90% of the roster? Yeah, you can make the argument for that for Bapi, but at least Bapi can take a hit or two before going down. Also calling it right now that Troodon's just going to be absolutely busted on day one just because the Venom's just going to probably be ridiculously stupid to balance. And yeah, they're going to go through stress tests, but either way, it's probably going to happen, so may as well just call the money here. However though, speaking of Bapi, I'm actually quite excited for this little guy. I say it time and time again, but I am a sucker for underwater characters and underwater gameplay environments. There's a reason why I really like playing Deinosuchus compared to the Stegosaurus right now, just because, well, it's simply a water animal. From the little tidbits in gameplay we've been seeing of Bapi so far through its tests and videos, it looks like it's just gonna be a really fun 30-second minute time of dinosaur gameplay, and I cannot wait. He has that sort of style that I just really like. He has the sass of an African penguin, but he also has the gameplay style of a duck and just a really fun design. Overall, this animal is just the definition of fun, and I cannot be more excited. As for Gallimimus though, I really have nothing strong to say. Now I'm not saying I don't hate it, I actually really like Gally, but nothing I really go head over heels for an animal. But still cool to see that he's here, and a really fun casual animal as well. But I cannot say without talking about this stupid as fuck pot stylized speed call. Like, what the fuck, Isle devs? Like, come on. Don't be making these goofy ass shitpost abilities. I get that you're trying to make all these animals different from one another, but Gally's already a generalist enough. You don't need to add more shit to him. And finally to Ceratosaurus. And I'm gonna be totally honest here, Chief, but I'm not really feeling this guy.
Oh, Squidward.
I don't mean to content plug for anybody's channels here, but recently I rewatched Shifty V's video where he was talking about his thoughts on Ceratosaurus for 6.5, and he's kinda right. What the Shifter V has concocted was, basically he was saying that if anything really would want to fight Cerato, you just purely can't. It's simple as that, you just could not. And you may think at first that he's probably just being overly negative, but the more when you look at it, it is really obvious that, yeah, like, this thing is basically indestructible. Now, obviously, I know that this thing is probably not going to be heavier than a Tenonto or a Carno by any stretch of the means. That's more or less Baryonyx's job, which is fine because Ceratosaurus needs some sort of weakness, but that's not the case. It does not seem that this thing has any sort of counter against any other animal. Let's do a little bit of a read-off real quick of what exactly this guy has in his kit. Sarah has a great sense of smell, able to smell things from really far away. He has an amazing healing factor, both for raw health and bleed. Cerato can literally eat anything, whether that's meat, rotten meat, or bone. A crazy amount of armor. A bacterial bite that just acts like a discount version of Venom. An ability that's just an easy fuck you to all your stats. An immense amount of DPS. Fantastic movement speed through the water, able to rival Tenonto. And the icing on the cake? A charged bite that just literally looks like it's ripped right out of pod. Cerato literally has everything in the fucking video game outside of speed. It seems what they did here was they took the generalist route for Ceratosaurus, but spent way too much time cooking in the meth lab and made it into a fucking monster. Ceratosaurus is literally the land equivalent version of Deinosuchus. But unlike being relegated to the water, this motherfucker can literally go anywhere. So what happens when you're a carno just enjoying your meal and a Ceratosaurus joins the call? What the fuck do? You can't do anything. You can either give up or just leave. Because, you know, why not, right? It seems the developers were too paranoid to the fact that they didn't want Ceratosaurus to get his ass railed in by both Baryonyx and Carno, but instead just overbuffed him to the stat where, no, he can literally take on anything, even probably things like the Stegosaurus. And don't get me wrong, I'm all in for Stegosaurus genocide, but this seems all a little bit too much, doesn't it? I know Ceratosaurus is very needed right now since Carno needs some sort of competition, and I do like some of the things that Ceratosaurus has in his kit overall, especially with the fact that he's finally getting bleed resistance, which is the thing that made him so terrible in Legacy. But as of right now, I'm feeling a little bit more on the side that Baryonyx should get in the game currently, or dare I even say it, Allosaurus. So, after all that time of us going over everything in this update, what is my conclusion? Do I think this update is going to be good? And the short answer of that is yes, absolutely, I do think this is going to be a good update. Obviously, I have my problems with it, as I already said beforehand, but overall, I think having the addition of 4 playables after a year and a half of waiting is a much needed thing. As well as also getting Unreal Engine 5 that will just benefit the game over time. But before we end the video, I wanted to give some honorable mentions and some things I saw that was in the devlog and some other little bits of news here that I recently saw that I was like, this is pretty cool. May as well just say this in the video as well. Gateway's Biodome is heavily in production and seemingly going to be really cool when the final version of it comes out. The Mayasaurus art I think is honestly really, really good. I like how it treads through water, being a mother towards its dinosaur, living up to its namesake, and just being an overall heavyweight championship compared to the rest of the other animals. Deinonychus' art is not as good as Maya's art in my opinion, and it's just more or less very bland and just fine in general. But it shows what Deinonychus really does, and either way, it was predictable from the start of what even was going to happen to begin with. Just please give me my ability where I can reverse baptism someone. Thank you. The night vision changes are very odd. The change to the water detection is cool. It adds a lot of fun cat and mouse situations, as they said at the devlog, and I'm pretty excited to see how it goes. Dryo is still cringe how it is right now in the game, but at least his dodge seems a little better. The Ceratosaurus charge bike can go fuck itself, and the BP oxygen breach change is very welcomed, and I think it's a great idea for BP to have. Gallimimus mobilize call. And finally, the announcement that our next 2 animals coming up right after these 4 will be Dilophosaurus and Diabloceratops. Personally, I think this update will definitely be worth the wait, and it seems like we don't have to wait that long because it seems that the stress testing, according to the developers, is right around the corner. They even said it literally, see, that means you know you can absolutely trust them. For the first time in forever, it feels I'm actually excited for an Isle update. Because after such shitposty level abilities and mechanics that have been added to the game recently, it just seems like the Isle is finally going right back to their roots and doing the thing we all want, adding brand new animals to the game. About fucking time. A little too late, but you know what? I don't care. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think this update's gonna be worth the wait? Or are you just going to keep ignoring the Isle because that might just be the right thing to do? I just want to say thank you for watching all the way through my video if you have made it to this point. I know I have not been making content lately, but I have a lot of things slated for this year, and hopefully we can get those done in a good amount of time in a good fashion. So if you want to keep up to date with those videos, make sure to turn on some notifications, subscribe, like, and also join the Discord below, which will be overhauling eventually sometime pretty soon. Follow me on Twitter, and do the same with Twitch. And with that being said, I want to end y'all off with a little something I've been preparing for quite some time now, and is a little bit of a tease for what the next big video is on this channel. Take a look.